My name is Jamie Holland, and before I got EMBP, I suffered from anxiety, depression, racing thoughts, suicidal thoughts. I've had severe trauma from the age of 5, sense of doom, panic attacks, not sleeping whatsoever, and many autoimmune disorders and health conditions that made my body shut down. I was so depressed that I was literally praying that God would take my life, or heal me, and I wasn't getting better. And I did everything known to man, everything known to, medicine men, everything, medications, spiritual retreats, everything, and nothing worked. And I was hopeless. I was, I felt like I was physically dying, and I was told that my body couldn't tolerate much longer. And the only thing that kept me going was fighting for my son. I needed to be able to get better for my son, but I couldn't. None of the tools that I have had throughout the years, nothing that used to work, worked anymore. And what hurt the most is I knew what it was like to be kind of spiritually fit and happy and grateful for life and how to handle situations. And no longer could I do any of those things. And I would not go outside. I barely saw sunlight. It started out due to the illness. I couldn't, but then it just became terrifying for me. And I was literally afraid if I moved one way or the other, the whole world would come crashing down. And I could not stop those thoughts and the negativity. No matter how much I prayed, no matter how much I meditated, no matter what I did, it would not stop. And it was terrifying for me. For me, it impacted every area of my life, my friendships with people, my relationships with my family. My mother um, has been very sick for 8 years, and, every day is a miracle that she's alive with us. But I couldn't be present, and she was more concerned about me than I should have been about her. And with my children, they feel like they lost their mother because they saw nothing but sadness. And my reactions to everything was so out of the norm. Everything was a panic. Everything was, fearful. Things I trusted and knew, everything worked out in the 12th hour was no longer, even though I knew it in my spirit, my brain wasn't thinking that way. My body wasn't reacting that way. My verbiage became extremely negative. Um, I became, I say, like a spoiled 2-year-old throwing a temper tantrum and angry at the world. And that's not who I naturally am. So it was extremely difficult for those who love me. For those, while I was sick was a different story. But when I started getting better, people might not have noticed that in me because I had learned throughout the years to try to maintain a specific, I could survive. But inside, my thoughts were racing, God, get me through the next minute, because I didn't think mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally that I could do one more minute of what was going on. And this was going on for years. Financially, I've spent my entire life savings. My 401k, my entire paychecks went to any treatment that would help. I have a condition called vulvodynia and vestibulodynia that started October will be 13 years out of the blue. And it's the most excruciating, painful thing for a woman to go through. And so I tried everything under the sun, every medication, every treatment, surgery, very invasive radical surgery, that did not work. And so financially, last my count was like $70,000 in the last 13 years, that went to trying to fix that. But what started happening was it wasn't just affecting me physically, burning and that pain, the nerve pain. Spiritually, it was affecting me because I wasn't able to connect with people. I was so focused on this burning pain that was not stopping, and I started becoming very sad. And then it was keeping me from sleeping, which made me. I was in a fog at all times. I couldn't remember what I did 5 minutes ago, let alone. It really changed my personality and made me a very sad, depressed, confused, very confused. I was confused all the time, and which frustrated me because somebody who used to remember everybody's name and everything about people. But what was the saddest thing for me was I didn't feel the love connection. I knew I loved people, but I think I was in such survival mode that that connection, and I kind of was ashamed of who I'd become. I didn't want people to see this shell of a human being that I had become. And I wanted so much to share my heart, but I was so focused on the other stuff. Every other pain I went through, I could deal with, but that one condition um, started this cycle of needing desperately to find a miracle. Nothing's working, depression, hoping, and then the hope turned into being afraid to hope. I was afraid to believe that anything positive could happen, and I lived in fear. And my life, I lost just about everything, and I feared the worst. And then, my son, yeah, and so for me, this happened is the hugest miracle in my entire life, because not only has it helped with anxiety and depression and sleep and racing thoughts and physical pain. My fibromyalgia is basically non-existent right now. I believe it's going to help my other condition as well, but I'm able to remember. My eyesight is so much better, which is just crazy to me. I can read things I couldn't read before. I have so much hope, and I lost hope. I feel hope. I feel excited for life. I feel like I'm so happy all the time. And I know I have a ways to go, but if this changed my life so significantly in after the very first visit, I noticed a difference. After the third visit, it was huge. And I mean, by the fifth visit, my life was like so much better. I was like, if I didn't even improve anything more than that, I was going to be okay. I wasn't going to be suffering, because the way I will tell you is I have felt for many years that I was living hell on earth, and that's not how my spirit is. Life is great. I want to help others, and I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help anybody. I felt like my passion and my purpose in life was robbed from me. And now I can feel that connection again and that excitement. And for me, it's a miracle, like the only thing that's ever worked. And it's all working in conjunction. It's not like one day I'm waking up and my anxiety is less and my depression. It's like all of it is getting better at the same time. It was so much that I frightened every doctor. Nobody knew what to work on first. And for me, this has helped every area that I was lacking, and I'm sleeping so much better. I actually had one night where I slept the entire night. The only time I got up was to use the restroom, and that has not happened in 20 years. EMBP for me is I really didn't know what it was going to be like. I had a kind of a thought about it, but first of all, you walk into the office and you feel the energy, a healing energy here, anyways. And then everybody who works here are like-minded people. I mean, I resonate with them. I feel their heart and soul. So you already feel that healing experience. I knew I was going to get healed because of just the way the circumstances happened and allowing me to get this gift that literally I believe has saved my life. And I went in and I had an EEG, and the EEG said exactly what I've been saying, but nobody believed, that I had all of these issues going on that, you know, people just thought I was, I've been called a hypochondriac. I've been called everything under the sun, which really hurt my spirit. But the EEG showed this is what's been happening. So instead of being fearful, it actually made me feel a sense of relief and hope that there's something that can help. To my surprise, I sat in this comfortable chair. They put something on my head, and then it pulsates every minute on the minute for 30 minutes, if I'm correct. And it's relaxing and everything else. But what I noticed when I left, I haven't mentioned, my body was like a freight train, literally going through my nervous system 24 hours a day, 4 years. And I shook like I was, I used to say I'm like 100 years old. I was shaking all the time. I couldn't hold a cup of coffee. It was like people would tease me and say, the coffee's turning to a latte because Jamie's, give it to Jamie, it'll turn it to a latte. And it was a funny way to do it, but I put my hands on the steering wheel and I noticed I was hardly shaking at all, and you have no idea how significant that is because I couldn't put mascara on. It was just so bothersome and embarrassing, and my writing was like somebody, my nervous system was shot, and that's what I noticed first. And my kids noticed it, and then it was like being able to read a menu when I could not do that. My daughter noticed that, like mom's reading the menu. My headaches, I haven't had a headache since, not one headache, not one anxiety attack, not one panic attack, not one fight or flight. The sense of doom is completely gone. I'm not living fearing what could happen to my mom, what could happen to my son, what could happen with my job, what can happen with the world. I'm able to deal with the situations that are still the same as they were before I started in a much more healthy way, which is helping my children, helping my son, and the better I get, the more I'll be able to help him, because when I'm a nervous wreck, that's not helping anybody. And it certainly is damaging to my life and my just spirit of who I was becoming. I feel Jamie for the first time, and I'm going to say in years, maybe over a decade. I see the sparkle in my eye, which I couldn't even look at my own face for a long time. Couldn't look at my eyes because I did not know that person, and my daughter didn't know that person. And I'm maybe getting older, but I feel like I'm getting better. And if everything that I have been through is going to help one person, but I know this will help hundreds and thousands of people. If it helped me, it can help anybody. I'm telling you, I was literally, I believe, close to my body shutting down, and for sure my mind, my heart, everything. And I'm just excited for life, and that is like the hugest miracle. Is I'm excited for life. I'm excited to be the mom to my kids and the employee that I can be and help all the people that I can help again. That gives me purpose. And my life, my relationship, my spiritual relationship has grown tremendously, and I have faith again, and I see the beauty in life, and I'm grateful for so much, and that was long gone. They all noticed, well, my friends, I have friends saying, what is different about you, Jamie? What have you done? And somebody in the industry called me and said, you look so radiant. Like it was like a ton of bricks had been lifted off of me. And they're seeing that. The friends who really knew my suffering and how deep it went noticed that I'm happy and I'm joyful. And that's another thing. I feel joy. I feel happiness. I feel excitement. Those things didn't exist. Which is very sad. But I can remember thinking 2 weeks ago at breakfast that, what was that feeling? And it was a feeling of joy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling joy again. And I'm laughing. I'm laughing all the time. I don't remember how long. If I did laugh, it was like nothing, whatever. I'm excited to go outside and enjoy life. I'm making plans for things. I have two grandchildren, one who's going to be 17 and one who's about 16 months old, and I'm looking forward to, spending those times with them, where before, for the last 2 years, I was not that grandma to them that I was in the beginning with my granddaughter. So I think they're excited to get their mom back. I know they are, for sure. It's changed everything because I am ashamed to say I've had an experience. A near-death experience. I was dead on arrival, and I know. But I became so angry at God because nothing worked, and I felt like if I have to suffer, then just take me, because I'm not helping anybody. I'm harming everyone. I'm miserable, and I a sole provider, and I couldn't provide for myself, let alone my son, who needed me now more than ever. And spiritually, I was lost. I would try to read the Bible. My brain was racing so much. My eyes couldn't focus on it or whatever. I would do spiritual things, meditation, right? Everything that I knew, the tools that I had, nothing worked. And I was lost. And so now, overnight, literally overnight. That night I was able to pray a consistent prayer and stay focused. I was able to like go, okay, I can see the pieces of the puzzle, how what I thought was an awful experience that happened to me a few months ago, and how those pieces of the puzzle came together in order for me to get this treatment. And so now it's like the gratitude and losing a job, the gratitude and getting a new job where they support this 100%. They love what's happening. They see me healing. They love that. And the excitement is, you know, if it can work for Jamie, it can work for anybody. And that's where I'm excited. I'm like, this is now my new passion. It's always going to be for substance use and trauma and mental health and helping others. But this is like, to me, for somebody who's been through everything, talk therapy, you know, I've done it all, like all. I've spent, and my ex-husband spent a fortune. And this in one moment has helped all of those areas. The trauma thinking and the nightmares, the horrific nightmares that I don't even know how my brain could think of such horrific things that was happening when I finally did sleep were so horrific it made me afraid to fall asleep. And now I haven't had one of those, not one. I work in mental health and substance use trauma with first responders, the VA, and general population. I've worked in recovery for almost 24 years. It's been my life, it's been my passion, and I've done a lot of different job positions throughout the years, but currently and for a long time, it's been business development and creating relationships. Um, and to me, the blessing is the owner and the CEO and my team are so excited because when I first got the EEG, they were like, wait, are you okay? Why is it so bad? And I was like, they didn't know, you know, what I'd been through. And, you know, like I said, my trauma started at 5 years old, sexual trauma, and many different crazy, huge things have happened throughout the years. But I had done talk therapy, I've done EMDR, I've done all that stuff. But when I got sick, everything got re-triggered trauma, and it was trauma response from that day forward. So all they see is they want data, right? And so they saw the data, or they know the data, and they're so excited because they say, this is my number one job description, is getting this done, because if it can work for me, how many other people can we help? And that's what they're looking at. First of all, they care about me and they care about their employees, but how many people can we help? And I'm saying we can help so many people. If it helped me, it's going to help so many people. When I went in for the EEG, I had the honor of having it with Conway. He got to read it to me, and he showed me what a healthy brain was, and then mine came up, and every area, I think it was a 10 out of 10 or whatever, it was very significant. I remember crying after he explained a lot of things about, he knew things about me without me telling him. He knew the way my body was feeling, the way my brain was feeling, even the fact that one of my ears I was having an issue with. He knew trauma, he knew everything, and there's no way that he could have. So right there, then and there, I believed him. And then seeing the healthy brains and then mine, and he said, this is serious and you need help right away, and I want to help you. And I started crying, and he goes, I don't think you're crying because you're afraid. I think you're crying because you were finally heard. Somebody believed. And it's exactly what I can tell you is things I've been saying, doctors are saying no, you know, people are saying whatever it is that they see, because they don't see it, they can't understand it. And I started believing myself, like, am I just somebody who's creating these things in my mind? But it's not. It's in my brain. It is there. And so for me to see that, and then get the treatments and know I'm getting better, and it's kind of funny. I told you that I had a little fear, like, what if it didn't change? What if the EEG didn't change? But I was able to stop that thinking, and then seeing it today and seeing the huge change, you know, in some of the areas that we still get to work on, but knowing in my heart of hearts that that's going to get even better. And to me, like I said, if it never got better than what it was today, my life is good. I can deal with things. And to imagine it even being better, like, I'm super excited for that. Like, I can't even imagine what that's going to look like. And it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. It's given me hope when I felt hopeless, and it's working. You've got to try it. Like, you have to, because for me, and people know, I've tried everything. Like I've said, I've tried everything and nothing. And this was immediate for me. Maybe for some people, it would take a few sessions or whatever. But I felt a difference the very day. And then every day I do it, I feel better and better and better. And it's a commitment, but it's a commitment that I'm willing to do. If I drive 2.5 hours to make it to my 30-minute session, and then after 10 sessions, I do another EEG, I'm going to make that happen, because this is the life-changing thing that I have prayed for, begged God for, begged the universe for. And to me, it is my miracle. And I will tell everybody, you have to try it, because it can save your life. It can change your life. It can make you feel better than you think you've ever felt in your life. And you can be happy again. And you can feel peace again. That's like incredible. Peace. Who knew?